A scene that is unmistakably England. Green pastures, narrow lanes, small villages, and beyond that, values and a way of life that has been preserved for over 1,000 years. All centred around peace, stability, fair play and unshakable democracy. That is, of course, unless you happen to live in the Derbyshire village of Stanton-by-dale, where fair play and democracy, along with some beautiful countryside, are about to disappear faster than you can utter the local greeting of "Hey up me duck." In a massive act of betrayal, the local authority, Derbyshire Borough Council, have teamed up with Spring UR, a multi-million-pound property development company, to force through a scheme to build 3,000 houses just a stone's throw from this idyllic village. But that is only part of the problem. While both organisations unashamedly crow their green credentials, the council are preparing to drive a 5-mile access road right through the heart of their own designated greenbelt, some of the most beautiful countryside in Derbyshire. So beautiful, in fact, that the council themselves describe the area as the jewel in their crown. That being the case, this gamekeeper turned poacher has just sold the family silver, along with its soul, in an act that would shame even Judas.
Environmentally, if Spring, the development company, decide to go for the cheapest and most convenient option of putting a development road through this wonderful area of green belt, environmentally it will be disastrous.
Of course, both Spring and the council insist that no decision on the road has yet been made, which is precisely why Spring are already purchasing land from local farmers at 6 times the agricultural rate. Meanwhile, the council are getting up to speed on compulsory purchase orders, just in case someone doesn't see sense. So, enjoy scenes like these while you can, because this is undoubtedly where the road will run, and within a few months, views like this will be gone forever. That is, unless you're prepared to make a stand right now. Beginning from the A52 at Risley and passing to the west of Peat Meadow, the road will slash through farms, ancient rights of way, wildlife habitats and Anglo-Roman archaeological sites, not to mention one of the most beautiful sections of the Trent Valley escarpment. Cresting the hill and visible for miles across the valley, it will then reach the village of Dale, where such devastation was last witnessed in the 12th century when Henry VIII destroyed its immense abbey. Having severed the land and livelihood of 8 farming families, it will then descend through this picturesque landscape to complete a noose of highways and motorways encircling this unfortunate village. Derbyshire Council and Spring describe their project as urban regeneration. What they don't admit is that the cost of achieving it is rural decimation.
Well, it would be a tragedy, and I don't think anybody's under any illusion about that. There are alternatives, and one would hope that at least that one of those alternatives might be the route that's possible. Being realistic, one understands that there are financial constraints, there are practical constraints in terms of rivers and railways and other roads, but the option that I think everybody would wish to go for is a junction onto the motorway, which currently the government is not in favour of, but that would ease everybody's worries and I think be a great blessing to the local communities around here.
What is conveniently being swept under the carpet is that there are even bigger issues here, ones that affect people far beyond the boundaries of these tiny villages. Stanton-by-dale's rural appearance is little more than an illusion. Along with Risley and its smaller neighbour of Dale Abbey, the village is part of a tiny sliver of greenbelt, acting as a buffer to the giant conurbations of Nottingham, Derby and Long Eaton that crowd in on all sides.
My message for the people who are pushing this through is, I would say, you get paid for it, come and have a week, different times of the day, and see the different people, not the locals, NIMBYs, all the locals are going to oppose everything, people always do. But just come and have a word with the people who come through, who aren't locals, which is the majority of the people who use this space. And I would think nobody would back you on this whatsoever. Of course, it's everybody's green spaces, and this is for the people of Derbyshire. It's our little national park, so don't plough a road through here.
But of course, come the offer of big money, and this greedy and avaricious council was quick to abandon the few principles it may have had. The Stanton Regeneration Project is the largest brownfield development site in the country, And in a Mugabe-style effort to meet its promised quotas, the UK government has promised Erewash Council a multi-million-pound kickback to push the project through. For that kind of money, Greenbelt, environmental concerns and your views stand about the same chance as a snowball in hell.
Because I was born and bred here, I grew up round here, I played round here, I walked all around here with my dad and my granddad, and at the end of the day, it's like, hopefully when I have kids, I can walk with them without saying, well, just before there, it used to be a pond and fields, not a bloody motorway or a highway or whatever it's going to be, a bypass.
The only thing I really think is that this site lies immediately adjacent to the M1. It's also close to Toton Sidings, another brownfield site. There has been talk about the possibility of access directly onto the M1 with an A junction, and there's been talk about possible access through the Toton Sidings. I think that if this is a flagship brownfield site, it deserves a flagship brownfield solution to its access.
Well, the road idea is totally bizarre. If they're going to use greenbelt land to feed a brown site, it's just, it don't bear thinking about. I mean, there's enough traffic going through the village of Stanton-by-dale and Dale Abbey at the moment. I mean, to put roundabouts on the road on No Man's Lane and Stanton Lane is just ridiculous. It's bloody awful.
So I'd say I cannot see one positive thing for this at all. I cannot see it. Everyone loses, particularly the people of Erewash who enjoy this space here.
So, what can be done about this? Well, quite a lot actually. The biggest danger comes not from Spring or the council, but ironically from ourselves, and it's the one they're counting on. It's called apathy. At the moment they've managed to convince thousands of people that this development will go ahead regardless, but that is not the case. It can only happen with your permission. It is a permission that you will give by remaining silent and doing nothing. Barry Walford is the Erewash Borough Council Economic Development Officer, and this is how to reach him. He won't be particularly pleased to hear from you, but contact him now and tell him what you think about this insane plan and help save this precious environment for future generations. If enough of you are prepared to give just a few minutes of your time, even this bunch of pen-pushing Jobsworths will be compelled to take notice. As tempting as it may be, don't put this off until tomorrow. Don't even put it off until later today. Make your views known, and please, do it right now. You may like to copy us in on any emails so that we have an independent record of your objection. This is our address, and we will be delighted to hear from you. The second thing you can do is to help us spread the word about what's going on here. You can do that by sending a link to this video to 10 people you know and ask them to do the same. That way, within a few days, we could get thousands of people registering their objections. You don't have to live in Stanton-by-Dale, Dale Abbey or Derbyshire. You don't even have to live in the UK. All that matters is that you care about saving the countryside and the environment. So, if you have an aunt in Argentina or a sister in Seattle, please include them on your mailing. If you'd like to keep up to date on what's happening, sign up to this channel and you'll automatically receive the next programme in the series. Finally, please remember we're not against providing decent and affordable housing. That is an unalienable right for everyone. What we are against is the obscenity of big business making millions of extra pounds by taking what they call the cheapest route, when what they're actually doing is taking the most expensive, one that destroys an irreplaceable and priceless asset. That asset is an area that draws people from far and wide, simply because it fulfills a basic need that no municipal recreation ground, public park or trip to the seaside can ever hope to meet. This landscape, with its farms, woods, green rolling hills and quaint village pubs, touches people in many ways, but perhaps mostly because in today's sometimes confusing society, it reassures them of who they are, where they have come from, and where they belong. England.